Hey guys, it's me again. I'm back with a new video. So yeah, just wanted to say a couple things that I somehow forgot to mention in yesterday's video that I posted yesterday. So yeah, I'm back on my handy dandy trusty phone again. It's almost the end of my third week back at college. I know I got like one more day left, so it's the second Friday back at New Horizons after like 7 months. Well, almost 7 months, but yeah. It's going well so far. Can't believe it's like almost the end already. But anyway, can't believe it's like Friday tomorrow anyway. So yeah. Cannot believe it. So yeah. All pubs and restaurants across central Scotland are to be closed under new measures aimed at tackling a surge of coronavirus cases. The new rules will apply to licensed premises across central belt, including Glasgow and Edinburgh. Pubs and restaurants will be able to open in other parts of Scotland but can only serve alcohol outdoors. The new rules, which will be enforced from 6 PM on Friday until 25th October, so tomorrow at time of filming this, apply to about 3.4 million people. All licensed premises, with the exception of hotels for residents, will be required to close indoors and outdoors, although takeaways will be permitted. Cafes which do not have an alcohol license will be able to stay open until 6 PM. Snooker and pool halls, indoor bowling alleys, casinos and bingo halls will also close in the 5 health board areas for 2 weeks from the 10th of October, so Saturday, in 2 days of time of filming. Contact sports for people aged 18 and over will be suspended for the next 2 weeks, with an exception for professional sports. Indoor group exercise activities will not be allowed, although the current rules will remain in place for under 18s, and gyms can remain open for individual exercise. Outdoor live events will not be permitted for the next fortnight. In other parts of the country, pubs, bars, restaurants, cafes will be able to open indoors until 6 PM, but only to serve food and non-alcoholic drinks. However, they will be able to serve alcohol in outdoor settings such as beer gardens until 10 PM. With the current rules, are no more than 6 people from 2 households remaining in place. The existing rules will continue to apply to weddings that have already been booked, and funerals in all parts of Scotland. Excuse me. License will be introduced to extend the mandatory use of face coverings in communal settings such as staff canteens and workplace corridors. Shops across Scotland will be asked to return the 2-metre physical distancing from this weekend, and to reintroduce measures such as one-way systems. All pubs and restaurants in the central belt will have to close, both indoors and outdoors, from 6 PM on Friday. Licensed premises will have to close until the 25th of October, although they can still serve takeaways. Cafes which do not serve alcohol can stay open until 6 PM. Pubs, bars, restaurants and cafes in the rest of Scotland will not be allowed to open. Pubs, bars, restaurants and cafes in the rest of Scotland will not be allowed to serve alcohol indoors. They can only open between 6 AM and 6 PM for food and non-alcoholic drinks. Licensed premises away from the central belt can continue to serve alcohol outdoors until the 10 PM curfew, which was introduced last month. Hotels across Scotland can serve evening meals to residents but without alcohol. Alcohol can still be served at weddings and funerals, which are limited to a maximum of 20 people and can only take place in regulated premises. Rules state that a maximum of 6 people from 2 households can meet together in hospitality venues, either indoors or outdoors. Customers have to provide their contact details in case contact tracers need to reach them, and must wear face coverings while moving around and when not eating or drinking. It's mandatory for staff to wear face coverings, and there can only be table service. snooker and pool halls, indoor bowling alleys, casinos and bingo halls. Indoor 5 health board areas will have to close for 2 weeks on the 10th of October, so in 2 days' time from the time of filming this video, and outdoor live events will be banned. Contact sports and training for those aged 18 and over will be suspended for the same period, although professional sports can continue. Gyms can remain open for individual exercise, but indoor group exercise activities will not be allowed. With the exception for under 18s, people are being asked to avoid public transport unless it is absolutely necessary, such as for travelling to school or work, and they are also being advised not to travel outside their own health board area if they do not need to. From this weekend onwards, shops are being asked to reintroduce 2-metre physical distancing rules and reintroduce some measures which had been taken earlier in the pandemic, such as one-way systems in supermarkets. The use of face coverings will become mandatory in indoor communal settings such as staff canteens and corridors and workplaces. Face coverings are already compulsory in shops and on buses, trains, trams, planes and taxis. People are also being advised not to share a vehicle with another household. When you have no other option, the advice is to keep windows open and wear a face covering and sit as far apart as possible. The Scottish Government said it was not imposing mandatory travel restrictions at this stage and was not insisting that people cancel their half-term breaks. However, people in other parts of the country are being asked not to visit the parts of the Central Belt covered by the tidal restrictions. The Scottish Government are also advising against non-essential foreign travel. People have been banned from visiting other households indoors since the 25th of September, so last month at the time of filming, when the restriction, which already covered 1.75 million people in Scotland within the whole country. There are exemptions for those who have formed blended households to support informal childcare arrangements, such as grandparents come around to care for grandchildren, and for couples who don't live together. There is also an exception allowing tradespeople to enter your home to carry out work. Children under the age of 12 are exempt from the limits on the number of people who can gather outdoors, and on the number of households. Those aged between 12 and 17 are allowed to meet up with groups up to 6 living households, but still observe physical distancing. The police have powers to break up groups of more than 15 people meeting in houses and to stop parties and student accommodation. Over the summer, it had been possible for 8 people from 3 different households to meet indoors and for up to 15 people from 5 different households to meet outdoors. However, the limit was reduced to a maximum of 6 people from 2 households, either indoors or outdoors, from the 14th of September, again last month. This rule still applies outdoors, including in private gardens and in hospitality venues. 3 million people in Newton. Oh no. The new rules will apply. Most pubs and restaurants won't be able to open in parts of Scotland, but can only serve alcohol. All licensed premises, with the exception of hotels for residents, will be required to close indoors and outdoors, although takeaways will be permitted. Cafes which do not have an alcohol license will be able to stay open until 6 p.m. Snookers and pool halls, indoor bowling alleys, bingo halls will close for 2 weeks from 10th of October. Contact sports for people aged 18 and over will be suspended for the next 2 weeks, with an exception for professional sports. Indoor group exercise activities will not be allowed, although the current rules will remain in place for under 18s, and gyms will remain open for individual exercise. Outdoor live events will not be permitted for the next fortnight. Pubs, bars, restaurants, cafes will be able to open indoors until 6 p.m, but only to serve food and non-alcoholic drinks. However, they will be able to serve alcohol in outdoor settings such as beer gardens until 10 p.m. Current rules are no more than 6 people from 2 households. Weddings, funerals have been booked. Funerals in Scotland. Please, face coverings. Shops across Scotland to return to 2-metre physical distancing from this weekend, such as one-way systems. With new 6 p.m. curfew as well, so new restrictions. Scotland wine ban, visiting other households. Bars and restaurants in Scotland currently have to close at 10 p.m. under the new rules from 6 p.m. on Friday the 9th of October, so tomorrow. All licensed premises in the central belt must close completely until Sunday the 25th of October. Pubs, cafes, restaurants will only be able to open indoors between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and will not be allowed to sell alcohol during those hours. However, they will be able to serve alcohol outdoors between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Hotel restaurants across the country will also be able to serve meals to residents in the evening, but will not be allowed to sell alcohol. For Scotland, a maximum of 6 people from up to 2 households will still be able to meet up in hospitality venues, subject to the revised opening hours. There will be exceptions for significant life events such as wedding receptions and funeral wakes, which will be able to continue in line with the current rules across the whole of the country. Currently, all pubs, bars, restaurants, cafes, and other hospitality venues in England must close by 10 p.m. Venues that are licensed to sell alcohol are restricted by law to table service only, except for takeaways. In all cases, table bookings of more than 6 are not allowed, and groups can't mingle. Businesses are legally required to take customers' contact details so they can be traced if there's an outbreak. Find up to £10,000 if they do not do this, or if they take reservations of more than 6 or do not enforce social distancing. Staff in hospitality venues must now wear masks, as must customers when not seated at that table to eat or drink. The penalty for not wearing one or breaking the rule of 6 is doubled to £200 for a first offence. Further restrictions are also in place in parts of North East England. Durham, Gateshead, Newcastle, North Tyneside, Northumberland are banned from mixing in pubs or restaurants with anyone from outside their own household. In Wales, pubs, bars and restaurants stop serving at 10 p.m. and customers will have to be off the premises by 20 minutes past 10. Supermarkets and off-licenses are not allowed to sell alcohol after that time. In Northern Ireland, pubs have to stop serving at 10:30 p.m. and must shut their doors by 11 p.m. But pubs that only serve drinks can now reopen, join pub stalls to serve food. Social distancing across the UK is officially 2 metres, but in England, people can be 1 metre plus a day, for instance, wear a face covering or don't sit face to face. Pubs, restaurants, cafes can take individual groups closer than 2 metres if they take certain steps to keep customers safe. Contact details and taken group, 21 days, give their name and phone number, PayPal online or doing a phone booking, take care of social distancing, self-isolate, the option of ordering food on apps, staff should wash their hands, music should be kept at low volume, book tables in advance, live gigs will be allowed to be outside, controlled access to toilets. In Scotland, people should keep 2 metres away from each other from Saturday to 10th of October, so in 2 days' time again. And Nicola Sturgeon has asked shops to introduce measures to support 2 metre physical distancing, such as one-way systems, except in some places like pubs. And children aged 11 or under do not need social distance. In England, you can't stay 2 metres away, you can stay 1 metre plus. Discovering Wales, guidance to stay 2 metres apart is not practical. 1 metre, but now back to Northern Ireland. People in your household, anyone in support bubble, follow social distancing rules, avoid physical contact, not be too close, and not shout or sing too close to them. England, up to 6 people of any age, multiple households can meet indoors. In Scotland, people are being told not to visit other households or other private indoor spaces. In public indoor spaces, 6 people from 2 households can meet. Outdoors, children aged 11 or under will be exempt from the head count. Those aged 12 to 18 are exempt from the 2 household limit, are allowed to meet together. In Wales, it's now illegal for more than 6 people to meet indoors, and any people who do meet must be from an extended household. Children aged 10 and under do not count towards the total. Up to 30 people from different households can still meet outside. 15 out of 20 Welsh countries are currently subject to tighter local restrictions. Social mixing of households is no longer allowed in private homes in Northern Ireland. 6 people from 2 households can meet in private gardens, both outside and outside, with social distancing. Household support bubble laws in 6. Education and training workplaces, children play groups and youth clubs, support groups. Weddings and civil partnerships with up to 15 people attending. Funerals up to 30 can go ahead. People can go to pubs, restaurants, shops, Places for protests. Groups of 6 or less, although more people will be present. These groups must stay separate and not mingle. Organised team sport are exempt from the person limit. 6-person limit. If COVID secure guidelines followed, but organised indoor team sport with more than 6 people is no longer allowed. An exception for people with disabilities can carry on. Indoor exercise classes can carry on. Indoor group exercise activities for over 18s will also not be allowed. Gyms can remain open for individual exercise, but snooker and pool halls and indoor bowling alleys will also closed. This means police can break up groups larger than 60 or 100 pounds for first offence, 6,400. So, yeah. Face coverings are now compulsory across the UK when travelling on public transport, in shops, supermarkets and shopping centres, not seated at a table to eat or drink and hospitality venues. Please travel for not following the rules. £100, someone bring. England and Scotland face coverings are also compulsory in a number of indoor spaces, including banks, building sites, post offices, places of worship, museums, galleries and entertainment venues, libraries and public reading rooms. Face coverings do not have to be worn in some settings where it's impractical, for instance when dining in restaurants or exercising in the gym. 7th of October, so yesterday, time of filming, legislate to extend the use of mandatory use of face coverings in indoor settings such as staff canteens and work corridors. In workplaces in Wales, face coverings must be worn in all indoor public places by customers and staff in Northern Ireland. They must be worn in any indoor place where goods or services are available to buy or rent. Children under 11 in England and Wales, under 13 in Northern Ireland, under 5 in Scotland, those unable to put on and wear a face covering because of a physical or mental illness or disability. People for whom wearing or removing the face mask covering will cause distress. Anyone assisting someone who relies on lip reading to eat, drink, or take medication, a police officer or officer asks you to avoid harm. Wear a face mask. In England, secondary schools will have the discretion to require face coverings. In Scotland, the Scottish government says all people aged over 12 should wear face coverings, corridors. In Wales, face coverings are recommended in high schools where social distancing is not possible but are not compulsory. In Northern Ireland, face coverings must be worn in corridors of secondary schools. They will be mandatory in parts of England that are under local restrictions but not in classrooms. So, yeah, this video is getting quite long, so now it's time to end it. So that's what I really have to say. So, and I will keep you updated if, as and when it happens and it updates. I'll obviously make more videos, but it'll be the same thing anyway. Might be a waste of video, but whatever. Sorry for coughing, but it's a dust, so that's what I have to say. So, bye! Bye, guys!